Hi, everyone. My name is Amber Peterson, and I'm LitWorld's Director of Program Innovation. Thank you for tuning in to another Facebook Live as we explore activities that help children, adults, and families stay positive, connected, and engaged. LitWorld is a nonprofit that works closely with grassroots organizations around the world to deliver literacy-based programs that focus on empowerment, social-emotional development, and storytelling. Our virtual Lit Club program dives deep into some of our favorite creative activities that anyone can do from the comfort of home. Go to www.litworld.org to sign up for the Virtual Lit Club or join our Virtual Lit Club group on Facebook to get new prompts and activities every week. This week we are exploring confidence, one of LitWorld's signature 7 strengths. We define confidence as thinking independently and expressing ideas with assurance. One great way to bolster our confidence is to get creative and play with unique and fun ways of expressing our ideas. For this week's Virtual Lit Club activity, we are going to be playing with poetry. Sometimes when you say poetry, people get a little scared, but there are so many different poetic forms, and poetry can be a creative way to explore our thoughts, our stories, and the world around us. Today, the form of poetry we're going to play with is blackout poetry. Blackout poetry is really cool because you're working off of an already existing piece of writing. You create the poetry by blacking out words and phrases until only the words of your new poem remain. A really quick Google search of blackout poetry should bring up a whole range of creative examples. The steps to creating blackout poetry are pretty simple. First, find some text that you don't mind marking or cutting up. Newspapers and advertisements are great text to start from, but you can also print out a page of your favorite text off the internet, or you can use a piece of your own writing if you'd like. I happen to have some old magazines and recipe books, some old books that I am not using anymore, the pages are ripped out of, so that's what I decided to start with. The next step is to scan the text for words that pop out to you. So, for example, if I open up, I'm looking at one of the recipes in this book here. I'm going to scan this word to any of these words that kind of, scan the page for any words that really stand out to me. You can write those words down on a piece of paper or just underline them as you read. If you write them down on a piece of paper like I did, make sure that you keep them in the order that you see them on the page. Once you've written all the words down, see if you can find a theme to the words that stood out to you, or if they give you any type of particular feeling. For example, when I read one of the pieces, these are the words that stood out to me. The first word that I kind of keyed in on was this word happiness. So then when I was looking at other words in the text, I was kind of looking for words that helped me think of happiness. So some of the other words that stood out were like promising, dazzling, shapes, colors, truth, improves. These all kind of have that same idea as this word happiness. So the next part is kind of the creative part. Go back to your text, your original text, circle or box the words that you like. You can look at the text for any additional words or phrases that are going to help you tie your big ideas together. And once you've figured out the words you're going to keep, go back and cross out all the words you don't want to keep. You can simply cross them out with a black marker, or you can be really creative and make a design or use multiple colors to cover everything on the page except for the words that you want to keep. So here are some of the examples that I made. The first one, this is a blackout poem this was originally a sneaker advertisement. So when I was looking at the page, as I mentioned, the first word that really popped out to me was this word happiness. So then I kind of looked for words that kind of I associated with this idea of happiness. So my final poem off of this advertisement for sneakers is happiness in a dazzling array of shapes and colors, conspiring to protect and improve forever. Here's my blackout poem. This one, I don't know well it turned out, but I tried something a little different with this poem. Here, I was actually just looking for all the words that started with the letter B, to see what kind of poem I came up with after I just crossed out everything but the word starting with B. So what I ended up with was Build Better by Beta Body Bitter. Broccoli best beets benefit big. I don't know if that means anything, but I like all the B's. The third poem that I did also came from this recipe book. And in this one, I was looking for all those action words, those verbs that really stood out to me. So I crossed out all the words except for the verbs to see what kind of poem I came up with. So here I have boost, get, give, see, dress, serve, lift, improve, raise, enjoy. Again, I wasn't necessarily, I didn't know what was going to come out of the poem, but I kind of like it. I like what ultimately I came up with. So once you figured out what you're doing, finish creating your poems and make sure that you share them with other people. It's really fun and exciting to see how one idea, what that original text is, can become something completely different after you're done with it. If you're able, try to use the same base piece of text as somebody else. So if you're both working off the same advertisement or the same article, work separately to create your blackout poems and then see how differently or similarly your final pieces look. Whatever you create, please make sure to share it with us at LitWorld. We would love to see your work. But that's it for this week's Virtual Lit Club Confidence activity. I hope you have fun creating and sharing your blackout poems. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another project. Don't forget to go to litworlds.org for more ideas and resources. Stay safe and stay connected.